Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make a festive beanie. Okay, so I've put everything in front of me so you can see what we're going to need. So you're going to need a pair of scissors, your little hook that comes with the machine, a needle for casting off, a white fluffy pom-pom, some red yarn and some white yarn. Okay, so let's get started. So the beanie that I'm making today is going to be a slouchy beanie. So it's going to be a little bit loose, so not too fitted. Okay, so we're just going to cast on. So make sure your needle's at the front. And we're just going to go the back and forth motion. So in total, the slouchy beanie will be 150 rows. So we're going to do 55 of red and 95 of the white. And we're back at the start. So just slot it into the feeder. Come on, in we go, in we go. And make sure your yarn is under the peg. So for the first few, make sure your count is on 0 too. So the first couple of rows, just take it nice and easy. You find that with these little machines, there's always certain types of yarn that it just doesn't like and won't knit properly. So just take it nice and slow for the first few rows. So once everything looks okay, you can start to pick up a bit of speed. And I'm going to crank out the 55 of the red, and I'll see you when we get to the white. And we're at 55. Okay, so when you reach 55, cut your yarn and just drop it down there. Now we're going to grab our white, drop the white on the floor. I like to put it on the same stitch, just so I know there's not going to be a hole. Reset your counter. Just want to make sure that's going to knit, so I'm just tucking that under. There, it's definitely grabbed at that time. Take your first row nice and easy. Make sure your yarn on the floor is nice and loose. So with the two yarn that we've joined, we're just going to tie a little knot just to make sure that it's not going to come undone, but keep the knot sort of fairly loose just so you don't have any issues with knitting it. Remember, take it easy just for the first couple of rows. And now we're going to knit 95 of the white. So I'm going to knit my 95 and then I'll see you once I've done that. 94 and 95. Okay, so once you've hit 95 rows, you then cut your yarn. Make sure that there's plenty to go around the machine for when we're casting off. Now, I won't lie, for some reason this machine didn't particularly like the white wool, but I'm not too worried about it because it is just a Christmas hat. So I figured I'd carry on so that you guys can see what it looks like when it doesn't quite knit up as well. You'll see there's patches where the knitting just isn't consistent. I don't know why this happens. Machines just have their own little odd quirks. Okay, so anyway, we're going to cast off. So what you need to do is thread your needle. And then we're just going to go around. Pick up all the stitches. It gets a bit easier after you've done a few. Okay, so you get the idea. So I'm just going to go ahead and take off all the stitches and I'll see you when I finish that. And last one. Okay. Just move the machine out the way. We're just going to unravel our work. Now, it's a good idea when you're actually doing long tubes to actually roll it up like that in the machine. Oops, it's inside out. So we'll just pull this the right way. There we go. So you can see sort of parts like this where whatever reason it just didn't like the white wool as much as the red. But I'm not too worried about it because the white is mainly going to be on the inside anyway, and the brim will just roll over an extra time. But what we'll do is we'll just give it a bit of a stretch, because sometimes after you've given it a bit of a stretch, it all looks fine. And there we go. So we're just going to pull together the end. And we'll be tucking this up on the inside. So we'll just do a couple of stitches just to hold it in place. I'm just going to pull my needle out, and then we're going to do the same to the opposite side. Okay, so we'll just give it another little stretch. And then we take the end of the white and we poke it up through your hat. Like that. And then we're just going to sew that in place. So feel the end, make sure it's touching. Poke our needle through. And we'll just place a couple of stitches. So now we grab our little pom-pom and you just look for the little elastic band to fasten it to the top of the beanie. Give it a little flap. And we're just going to sew that onto the top. Okay, so we're just going to do a little knot just to help hold it in place. Once you've done your knot, then weave in your ends between the two layers of your beanie. And there we go. So we'll just give it another stretch again. And there's your Christmas beanie.